Hello, this is Angela with Parker's Hausfrau. I wanted to share with you all a quick little sewing tip that I have found very, very helpful and thought that maybe it would be something that would help you all as well. First, I want to say thank you to everybody who weighed in on Facebook and on Instagram and gave me your feedback about what buttons to put on this new vest that I just made. So I had a whole box of buttons that when my mother passed away last year, I found in the basement, and they were ones that she got when her mother passed away. And I think my grandma got them from her mom. It's an old tin full of antique buttons. Now there were some plastic ones in there and some really cool old metal ones and a couple of wood ones, but the predominant composition of those buttons was bone or shell mother of pearl. Tons and tons of handmade bone and shell buttons of all sizes. And so I cleaned and sorted and jarred them all up by size and shape and what have you. And I've been looking for projects in which to use them. And so I asked on Instagram, like, which buttons do you guys think I should use for this vest that I just made? And overwhelmingly folks said, use the mother of pearl ones. So that's what I did. So this vest is made out of thrift store fabric. It's a beautiful woven fabric. I don't know if you can see here. And it's 100% cotton. And then the inside is a salwar kameez that I got also at the thrift store. It had a big tear in it. It was a very small size and it had a big tear in it. And I want to say it was like 85 cents. And it's this really pretty red silk. I love using silk in the lining of vests and bodices because it doesn't catch and snag with your shirt underneath. It moves really smoothly and nicely and is not a high friction fabric. And so I really like to use it for linings in vests and bodices. So I think I spent probably about $1.25 total on the material for this vest. And I have almost a yard left of this really pretty woven fabric. So the buttons that I picked for it are, again, these mother of pearl ones. Let me cut in a close up here. And I made this vest originally to have lacing in it, and then I made it a little bit too big, and so I needed to use buttons because there's not enough room. As you can see, it overlaps a little bit. There wasn't enough room to have a gap in lacing here, and so I ended up putting in buttons instead, but I didn't have enough of an overlap for a whole buttonhole. So what I actually did is I used a trick from Kat's Costumery. She had a video very recently about doing button loops, and so I followed one of her techniques. I will link here. Her videos are fantastic. She's one of my favorite sewing YouTubers. And it turned out really, really well. It's hard to see because I'm sitting, it looks a little uneven, but they actually came out really, really nice. I'll cut in a picture. So the tip I wanted to share is how I put the buttons themselves on. I have had a habit, or did have a habit previously when I was younger, when I would sew buttons on, they would be too tight and it would be hard to get them through the buttonhole. So 20 years ago or so, I learned that if you take a big fat darning needle, a big yarn needle, and put it against the back of your fabric and loop your thread through it when you are sewing on your button, it creates this extra space that then when you pull the needle out, you pull your button taut and you have this little extra length of thread that you can then wrap around it and create a really nice shank for your button. Again, when you are done taking your button and sewing it through the buttonholes into the fabric, pull out that yarn needle, then pull the button forward and you'll have this little length of thread. Then you can wrap. I usually do like about 8 times. I wrap the thread around that little shank that's created to make it really tight and secure. And then I go ahead and I weave my tail in and tie a knot on the inside of the fabric and snip it. But for me, that's made really nice shanks on my buttons, and it's made them really last a long time. So I hope that helps y'all. So for me, that's been a really easy, simple step. It has solved the problem of having buttons be sewn on too tight, particularly when we're looking at these kind of antique buttons that don't have a shank at all. You want that little bit of wiggle room so that you can get the button loop or the buttonhole over your button nicely. I will be back with another video very soon. I hope that you all are staying well and enjoying your holiday season. By the way, these videos are not monetized at this time. I am more than halfway to the number of view hours I need to monetize this channel. But if you'd like to support the work here, I do have a Patreon down in the description. Thanks.